According to one of the stories contained in the book of Genesis, angels were sent by God to destroy the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah because of the sins of their inhabitants. Only a righteous man named Lot, along with his family, was to be spared. But while making their escape, Lot's wife ignores the angel's warning not to look back, and upon gazing at the horror and devastation, is turned into a pillar of salt.
Before the Lord destroyed the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, Abraham pleaded with the Lord and asked to spare the people if the Lord can find at least 10 righteous people in Sodom. The Lord agreed and sent 2 male angels to the town where Lot greeted them into his home. The men in the town gathered outside and demanded to know the angels. The phrase "to know" in the Bible has sexual connotation. Lot tried to sway them away with his virgin daughters, but they wanted the angels. The 2 angels then struck the men of the town, causing blindness, and Lot was ordered to take his family and leave the town, for it was to be destroyed. This passage is used against gay people. However, this is a story of attempted gang rape, not 2 people in consensual sex. Furthermore, why would Lot offer his virgin daughters if all the men in the town were gay? How could his daughters be pledged to be married to men in the city if they were all gay? This was a practice that wicked men did to travelers. A similar story is told in Judges, chapter 19, verse 13 through 27. In Judges, a Levite and his concubine were traveling and stopped in a town called Gibeah, which is 3 miles north of Jerusalem. While they were there, an older man offered them a place to stay for the night. During the night, a group of men in the town came to the old man's house to demand to have sex with the male traveler. The Levite gave them the concubine instead. The men gang raped her and abused her all night until dawn. This story tells that men of ancient Israel were not labeled like we are today, and many were what we would call bisexual today. So why did God destroy Sodom and Gomorrah? The Bible gives us reasons, and it's not because of homosexuality. In Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 48 through 50, the people of Sodom are described as being arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned. They did not help the poor and needy. They were haughty and did detestable things before me. In Jeremiah 23, verse 13 through 14, it says that they committed adultery and live a lie. They strengthen the hands of evildoers so that no one can turn from his wickedness. They are like Sodom to me, and the people of Jerusalem are like Gomorrah. This implies that the men in Sodom and Gomorrah were committing adultery. Adultery is defined as a man who has sex with a married woman. Once again proves that these men were not homosexuals. In Jude chapter 1, verse 5 through 9, it says that in the similar way Sodom and Gomorrah and the surrounding towns gave themselves up to sexual immorality and perversion. Sexual immorality, or fornication, is found in the New Testament. Many people define fornication as any sex outside of marriage, but that is not what the word originally meant. It is a common belief that the origin of the word fornicate derives from Latin. The word fornix means an archway or vault, and it became a euphemism for brothels where prostitutes could be solicited in the vaults beneath Rome. More directly, fornicatio means done in the archway. Thus, it originally referred to prostitution. Furthermore, if you go further back, fornication was translated from the Greek word porneia. Porneia was a blanket term which referred to any serious sexual offenses, which would include incest, bestiality, adultery, rape, hiring of prostitutes, and most importantly, shrine prostitution or idol worshiping. Jesus himself even mentioned Sodom and Gomorrah in Matthew chapter 10, verse 11 through 15. He says that if anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, shake the dust off your feet when you leave that home or town. I tell you the truth, it will be more bearable for Sodom and Gomorrah on the day of judgment than for that town. He also said in Matthew chapter 11, verse 20 through 24, "If the miracles that were performed in you had been performed in Sodom, it would have remained to this day. But I tell you that it will be more bearable for Sodom on the day of judgment than for you." Both scriptures in Matthew point out that those that reject the truth of Jesus Christ will be punished more harshly than the people of Sodom and Gomorrah. In conclusion, the sins of the people of Sodom were not that they were homosexual, but according to scriptures, were because the people were arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned. They did not help the poor and needy. They also committed adultery, sexual immorality, and tried to rape travelers who came into their cities. So why is homosexuality linked? Besides the obvious story of the men in the town of Sodom wanting to rape the male angels, the words sodomite, sodomy, and Sodom have been oftentimes wrongfully linked. The word Sodom refers to the city Sodom that God destroyed. Sodomy, by definition, means anal sex between two males or anal sex between a male and an animal. This word was coined in the 13th century and is nowhere in the Bible. The word sodomite does not mean an inhabitant of the city of Sodom, like how a Canaanite is an inhabitant of Canaan. Sodomite was translated from the Hebrew word Kodesh, which means shrine prostitute. Here are some scriptures where sodomite or Kodesh is used. In Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 17 through 18, it says that none of the daughters of Israel shall be a whore or Kodeshah, nor shall any of the sons of Israel be a sodomite or Kodesh. You shall not bring the hire of a prostitute or Zonah, or the wages of a dog, Caleb, into the house of the Lord your God. For both of these are abomination to the Lord your God. Note that the Bible uses two different types of prostitutes. A Zonah and a Caleb were terms to describe an ordinary male and female prostitute, but a Kodesh refers to a shrine prostitute. Here are other examples of the word sodomite being used in the Bible. In 1 Kings chapter 15, verse 12, it says, "And he took away the Sodomites, or Kodesh, out of the land and removed all the idols that his fathers had made." In 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 7, "Then he tore down the ritual booths of the Sodomites, or Kodesh, that were in the house of the Lord, where the women wove hangings for the wooden image." And finally in Job chapter 36, verse 14, it says that they die in youth, and their life is among the unclean. To conclude, it is important to note what the Bible actually says and does not say. Many Christians have added to the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, which isn't found in the scriptures to be true. So let's recap. Genesis 19 never mentions homosexuals in Sodom. The scriptures never mention a same-sex relationship in Sodom. Scriptures never tell us that God destroyed Sodom because of homosexuality. Sodomite in Scripture never refers to homosexuals and doesn't define a sodomite as an inhabitant of Sodom. Every time sodomite is used in Scripture, it refers to cult shrine, temple prostitutes who worship the Canaanite fertility goddess. The sexual immorality and perversions that the people of Sodom committed is not defined in Scripture. The Bible doesn't even say anything about the people of Sodom and Gomorrah having sex with animals. And finally, the word sodomy is not found in the Bible, and the word was coined sometime in the 13th century. If Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed because of homosexuality, then the Bible would say that, but it doesn't. There is no evidence to back up claims that the people of Sodom were all gay, or even that they had sex with animals. It says it was destroyed because God could not find 10 righteous people in the city. Christians' attempt at comparing a story of gang rape to modern-day gay couples who seek to get married is wrong and absurd.